Apes and apettes, welcome back to the channel. Hit that like button for me if you guys own a single share of AMC. This is a roll call, baby. Get excited, get ready. We're heading into another very critical trading week for AMC. If you have not seen my last video, check that out. We went over everything you guys need to know. But if you can't tell from the title of this video, we are going over my price brackets for AMC, and I think you guys will get a lot of value out of this video. This is not a video that I have made before in the past, so this is a first for me. Now, I do also want to talk about how time in the markets beats timing the markets, especially with AMC. I know some people out there, they've definitely sold AMC, and they're like, hey, I'll just get in once the rally starts. I'll just let it drop and then I'll get in later. And that could be detrimental for your returns in AMC as well as any other stock and in the broad market. So those are the two things I want to talk about here in this video. We're going to try to keep it short and sweet and straight to the point. So like I said, if you guys get value or simply entertainment out of this video, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below how many shares of AMC do you own? When do you think the MOAS will actually happen? So let's dive into it. Now, time in the markets beats timing the markets in the S&P as well as in single stocks as well. Take a look at this. This is a chart from January 4th, 1999 to December 31st, 2008. This is when the markets were actually crashing at their lowest point, so keep that in mind. Fully invested in the S&P 500, your dollar value of about $30,000, but the annualized performance was 5.62%. If you missed 20 of the best days, your performance went negative. Crazy, right? It says right here, you don't have to miss many good days to feel the impact. The return went from positive to negative by missing the best 20 days of the market over the past 20 years. Putnam Investments found similar results by studying the data from 2003 to 2018. If you were fully invested in the S&P 500, your annualized total return was 7.7% during that time. But if you missed the best 10 days in the market, it dropped to a paltry 2.65%, hardly keeping up with inflation, arguably not keeping up with inflation if you average that out. So what does this mean, and why am I telling you guys this? Because the same goes for the markets that goes for AMC, but I think it's even more important when you're talking about AMC, because AMC can be explosive. AMC can see 20, 30, 40, 50% days, especially now considering the short interest is at highs since it has not been since June, sitting at 21.73% and about 112 million shares that are sold short. Cost to borrow max has about doubled in the last 2 weeks, now sitting at about 4%. So that is all looking good. Share utilization as well as at 80%. Days to cover at 2.54 days to cover. AMC's days to cover used to be less than 1. That's when it was not hard for shorts to get out of their short positions. But since the volume has been low and not as many people are selling, as well as not as many people are actually buying right now, I think a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines and waiting for this. Then that days to cover has went up, makes it harder for shorts to get out of their short positions. So it's going to be explosive when it happens. And you guys see what your returns look like if you miss those best days with AMC included. That sits in the same boat. So I think it's very important if you believe in the movement, if you have conviction like me. I have not sold a single share of AMC. I started buying this thing when it was $5 in August of 2020 as a recovery stock. So I've been in AMC for a very long time. I'm down quite substantially. I'm down alongside you guys. My average cost is about $35 to $37 because I bought a lot in August, but I also did not sell, and then I kept buying more in this mid-40s range, looking for that next rally, which didn't happen. So I'm down a lot with you guys. It's actually my largest loss in my portfolio. So just so you guys know. So I'm here with you guys. And I mean, I see where it's easy to say, hey, I'll sell out, I'll get back in at a lower price. Try to help my situation, but it's actually going to hurt you in the long run when you do see those explosive moves. So that's that, and I wanted to put that first before the price brackets section of this video. So as far as my actual game plan, we'll get into that in 1 second, but the price brackets, and it's kind of hard to articulate this, but the price brackets that I personally like to think of, they fluctuate all the time with the market sentiment, with apes sentiment. So the best way to think about this is, what do you think the average AMC holder will hold their shares to? What do you think the average price of these positions are? From what I've seen, really that mid-30s range seems to be a lot of apes' average prices. So we're all down quite substantially. If your average price, let's just say, is $35 per share. If it's $35 per share and the stock goes to 100, that's roughly a 3x. If the stock goes to 500, what is that? A 15x? Right? So if the stock goes to 1,000, that's a huge gain. If the stock goes to 5 or 10,000, you just became ultra wealthy. What do you think the average price every single ape would hold AMC to? What's the aggregate average? Since the consensus used to be 50,000, 100,000, 250,000, a million, I think there's a lot of high expectations, which will help the fact of apes holding their shares longer than a typical short squeeze trade. So I think that does help a lot. But what's the average? Let me know what you think the average is apes will hold on to their positions. In my personal opinion, I think 5 to 10,000, like I've said on the live streams many times, is a good average. I think if you average the people that are willing to sell out at 200 or 500 and the people that are willing to sell at 50,000 or above, you're going to come into that rough median of about 5 to 10,000. That's just being factual. That's just being honest with you guys. And I think in all reality, people want like $1 million per share or 250,000 per share. But if you have a sizable position, even, $1,000 in this stock at $35 average, you're still going to make like 50 G's. You're still going to make like 100 G's. Some crazy number like that. If you have more than that, like most people do, then you're going to make millions of dollars. If it goes to 5 or 10,000, I don't think people would be too mad about that. I think a lot of people are, too impatient, but that's not really the right word. We've been in the stock for a long time, right? Almost a year if you're talking about June of 2021. But to see these kind of returns, you have to let it have its time and let it play out. I've been in stocks for 2 or 3 years that never went positive until one day, boom, they were fucking positive. MicroStrategy is a great, or Microvision. That's a good example of a trade that I was in for a while that was negative forever and then finally went positive. I bought into Microvision when it was in the 50-cent range. That thing was down for months, and then I had it in the dollar range, and so my average, I was down on this thing for months, I believe almost a year. What happened to Microvision? It ran up to $28, right? I had sold out at like my average, my break even, because I was done with it. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna get out, get my money back, and that thing fucking rallied. If I would have kept my money in Microvision in the 50-cent range and sold out at 28, I would have made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of a relatively small amount of money. So, kind of crazy, right? And that just goes to show, and that's what really taught me to continue to hold on to my stocks. I don't sell stocks. If I buy something, I know why I buy it, and I have a reason for buying it, like, say, Snapchat. I've owned Snapchat for a very long time. I actually bought more recently, the day before when it was down 25%. We bought options. We hit big on the options. We hit on the Facebook puts. We hit on the forward puts as well. So if you guys want access to all that, link down below in the pinned comment of this video. But what I've learned from holding Snapchat for a very long time, buying this thing in the $6, $7 range, or even just recently being down 30% on my average position because my average price was in the high 30s, then I've learned, especially now, little wake up reminder, little wake up call, when Snapchat just rallied 60%. If I would have missed that day, I would be substantial. I would have lost on my trade so far. But if you hold on, if you're in it for the right reasons, like I am with Snapchat, and Snapchat becoming the next Facebook because all the young kids use it, if you have a reason to own something, then one, it's easier to hold on to it during the tough times, but it's also makes for a better investment. You don't freak out. You don't miss sleep. I don't miss a second of sleep from AMC. Do I care what happens? Do I care if it goes to 10 or 12? No. I know it's going to do its thing, and I know we're all going to be positive quite substantially on our positions in due time. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not the one to tell you do what do what you guys got to do with your money and your own financial decision. But I think right now AMC is priced for its worst case scenario, considering the fundamentals that are, in my opinion, better than they were back then. The business is more efficient. They have over $1 billion more additional capital at their disposal. More than that, it's like $1.5 billion of capital they have extra now compared to 2019. Just posted a profit. This thing is priced for the worst case scenario coming on earnings, but ahead into the future. So I think if you're selling this thing right now, it's the bottom of the barrel. You're selling at the lows. That's not personally what I like to do, but to save your guys' time and not keep ranting on about this, that's my price brackets in between $5,000 and $10,000. I think that is reasonable. If you hate me for that, respectively, fuck off, because you'd be very happy with that, and I don't want to kid yourself or kid myself or kid you that people would be unhappy with $5,000 or $10,000 a share. No, I think that's the average price people will hold to. So, if provide me something better. Provide me a better thought process on why it could go to $1 million, I guess. Anything's possible. We've seen crazy things happen in 2020 and 2021. So let me know what you guys think about that down below in the comment section. That's going to be all for this video. Love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.